Okay. Sorry that I have not been posting and giving you a lot of updates. Every single device that I've had that is connected to my YouTube account has like stopped. It either stopped or like I just couldn't log on. Like my phone, I charged this phone like 12,000 times. If I used it for anything else, it was fine. Once I get on YouTube, it would literally shut down. My laptops, one of them is the Google Chrome, the new, turnaround or whatever, and then I have my iPads. All of them kept shutting down when I went on YouTube, so I was like, what the heck? Something is like really up. But I've had that happen before, especially when I'm trying to make videos on YouTube. So and I believe, I don't even think anymore. I know that is the plan of the enemy because when you're talking about real things, you have hindrances and obstacles that go in your way, but you cannot stop. So that's why I was like, I'm going to try again and see where it goes. So this is why I have this video. Um, you guys know that I am training to, compete in the pageant and everything. But I got a call from a network that is, well, actually the TV show and then the network. There's a TV show that's going in the process. Now, I can't tell you the name because of confidentiality. You want to be respectful of that, and being a creator myself, I understand that process. There is a show that they're trying to do with pageantry, an adult show, to show the goods and the bads of pageantry. They also told me that some of the things they're going to do, they want us to do, to have live, like, disputes and the things, kind of a reenactment of what happened. You're going to talk about those things like, and pageantry, if people don't know about pageantry, there are a lot of great things that people don't understand what happens with pageantry. You usually hear about the real catty side. So, anywho, but it's also a part, like a catty side that people don't hear too, that, or political side, as you can say, that people don't understand too. You can be the best candidate, you can be the best overall person and not win a pageant. You can be the best looking and not win a pageant. You can be, like I said, the overall package, but not win it due to something else, financial issues or something else. Or you can be the whole package if and not be, accepted by majority of the votes, just majority of the people. That's just how it works. That's how it is. Nothing personal, but that's how it is. So, yeah, that's what they wanted to do. After that, they wanted me to, basically just be extra animated, And I had to ask, what was my purpose of doing this? Even if, yes, you're going to get paid, and the pay that they're giving, would it be very good at this time for me? Yes, yes. But I have to be very careful and very decisive as to what I choose in my life, It says your daily habits will determine your success. Your daily decisions will determine your future success. So although those little, that money and the exposure would have been good for me now, in probably a couple of years, how is that going to look down the road when I want to venture out and do something else and be taken seriously? So my decision, it's going to be different from other people, but my decision was to decline that offer, just simply based off of the fact that it was not going into the direction that I wanted it to go. Not only that, it was literally dialogue. It was more of acting than to show what really goes on, how people really feel, Um, what takes on that? Because it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight to do that. Um, but like I said, I came to the conclusion to look at long term versus short term. So that's what made me make this video. Um, we as a society always want to do this separate and conquer kind of thing when we do competitions, or someone's trying to better themselves. Um, it's almost like we don't physically say it, we don't verbally say it, but we show it through our actions. One person can be successful. If they become successful, then there's no room for me to become successful and grow. And that is not the case. Um, there's enough room for success for everybody. It really is. And you have to be around people who realize that, and who can acknowledge that. There are a lot of people that I used to consider friends that I understood now, based off of their actions, they are no longer friends to me. Because a friend is going to tell you the honest truth, whether it hurts or not. You can be mad at a friend, but because they want the best from you, they're going to want to peel off the layers that they see is no longer helping you in the process for you to become your best version of yourself. I noticed that I was around a lot of people who, not only they knew that some of the things were not healthy, they promoted it because they didn't want me to shine. They didn't want my light to shine like that. Or they'll see that the people that are around me who really care for me are peeling off these layers, and they're like, no, then she's going to leave me. I literally had some people to tell me, you're not going to be my friend anymore. You're going to, instead of saying, well, I see you growing, I want to do the same thing, and let me focus on myself and grow. Yeah, it's never that whole, life is never about dividing and conquering at all. It's about using what you have and what you have left to become a greater person, a greater version of yourself. So that left me, even though I deal with competitions and deal with pageantries and things like that, I'm never competing against the next woman. I'm never competing against her. I'm competing on myself, what is the best Bill that I can be? How can I make myself better and more productive for the world to see? So that is basically, what I'm doing, and going into that arena of reality TV. At this point in my life is not beneficial. It's not going to promote what I'm trying to promote, or give off that radiance glow that I'm trying to emit into the world, and I believe that integrity, one thing that this whole journey has taught me, is to live into integrity. We are not always responsible, or not in control of, I'll say not in control of, what happens to us. We're in control of what we have control over, our actions. We're controlled, we can control our actions. So your actions and your responses and your habits dictate your future. So that's how I went about it. Like, that's how my life is now, and being a believer, I want to say 90%, people say 90%, but I believe that 98% of the decisions are already made when you are, for one, a believer and a person of integrity, because you have no other option but to do the right thing, even when it looks tough, okay? Do the right thing. Even when people start, screaming at you, when people start talking down to you, you have to do what is right. And that might mean leaving a job. That might mean sticking out. See, people don't talk about that. People always talk about, it might be leaving a job that you've been there 20-something. That's not always true. Sometimes you have to stick it out. Sometimes God puts you in those positions to build your character, to develop patience in you and how to deal with different situations and to deal with different people, because I will guarantee you're going to run across those same people when you get to the next level. You're going to have to learn how to deal with these people. My hugest problem was running away from difficult and strange people, because they will see me as a weakness. They will see that I'm very caring. They will see I'm very open, and they're trying to attack, But the lesson for me was to, because like I said, I deal with, based off my belief system, and to deal with having better character and integrity for myself, work through them. Just keep going, It doesn't matter if someone gives you an applause. It doesn't matter if you're getting taps on the shoulder, because sometimes, and most of the times, when you're operating out of integrity, there are going to be people who are going to despise you. There are going to be people who literally hate you, okay? I had to go through this, and I still go through this, but I understand that it's for a reason. It's the reason that I'm going through it is greater than not going through it and appeasing people. I used to be sometimes like appeasing some people. Well, maybe, but you can't go through that, because you're taking a part of yourself. You're losing a part of yourself, and you know what the truth is. It's just no. So, yeah, and I know a lot of you guys are going through that. It might not be through pageantry or dealing with homelessness or dealing with unfriendly or toxic people. It could be dealing with a toxic relative, mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter, we have those relationships, so we have those dynamics. It could be a neighbor, I have a couple of neighbors that and I live with both present and past, that were very, I guess, considered very loving and kind and a person of character and integrity to other people. But all around, when they were showing it to me and to others, it was not, that was not the case. You didn't see that at all. And that's vice versa. I have a lot of people who, that I know for certain, I've witnessed this. I try to keep distance from them, but they will have a lot of integrity from me, and a lot of, they'll have they'll show integrity or allude, give the illusion of integrity and character. But then, as times and their feelings change about you, then, their character changes towards you. When that's how you know what a person really is about. Not through the soft and the gigglies. It's through the hard times, through those hardships, and through those difficult times when you know what a person really thinks about you, what they really feel about you, and how their character is. Because you can say all nice things when things are going well, but how can it's difficult to, or it takes work to be nice to people who have constantly despised you, have constantly tried to attack you, who constantly smile in your face and try to stab you in the back, or try to destroy your job and destroy your character by any means necessary. It takes a lot of work. And it tells you that regular, normal, carnal people can be nice to people who are nice. Of course, you're going to be nice to people who are nice to you, but it takes a strong level person, a strong level-headed person, to be kind, or entity to be kind to someone who is not operating out the best time. I think about that when serving. I think about that not only with serving, when people were serving me, because there were times where I could be very rude and very blunt on purpose to people who seemed as if they were against me, but they were really helping me. I've witnessed that firsthand by other people, and I've witnessed that myself, being ignorant and operating out of the same devices. So when you go through that and you see that, and I'm so glad, thank you God, showing me that. When you see that, you can open yourself up a lot more and walk into that and see, and see that, and you can, grow. But yes, that's what I'm dealing with. And if you're going through this, you're gonna have to remember when you're operating out of this, it's something greater than that conversation or that dialogue or that battle that you just had with that person. It's something that you're trying to get out greater, and you might not get it right out the bat, right after a year or two. You might not get it after 2 years. You might not get it after 20, 30 years, but eventually, if the person is willing to open it, it will seep into them, and they'll be able to understand it, and grasp it. For me, I'm grasping it now. I didn't grasp it some years ago when some people were endowing me with knowledge and endowing me with wisdom and endowing me with seeds of hope and true prosperity, because true prosperity, it really takes a lot of work. You can't, do what the normal and everyday people are doing. You can't do what is acceptable and susceptible to other people because you, for one, different, and for two, to do something, to have a different outcome, you have to do something different. If you want something the same, you have to keep doing the same and do what everything every other person is doing. Think about the crowd. They say don't follow the crowd, but a lot of us in our daily walk are following the crowd. Whether it's just, taking drugs, just doing what the normal, what is being portrayed to them on TV, being witches, casting spells, just positive energy affirmations, marijuana things, making everything legal and free, being super liberal, being super conservative. But in order to be above that, you have to have rules and guidelines. You just can't you can't do the same things that everyone else is doing. Okay, you just can't, and that's what I've learned walking through it. Not just seeing and people telling you that, because when people tell it, it sounds logical, but it's a whole different ballgame when you have to live it and to walk through it because you understand firsthand. I thought about that even with my issues with fornication. Oh my God, my issues with fornication, or to have multiple relationships. And people were like, oh my God, she was multiple relationships. Doesn't mean that they're all sexual, but multiple relationships. And fornication, period, meaning just having sex just freely. First of all, you're giving off your energy to something that you don't know is going to produce the results that you need or want in your life. When I was going through it, it was something to relieve, something short term. I think this can go back to the other video that I talked about with short term and long term. And it was short term. You want to feel that high. You want to have that adrenaline. You want to relieve yourself, because you have this built up energy. Especially me, I exercise a lot. I have high energy. It's crazy. So sometimes if I can't do it, then I will have to literally lay down to calm myself down, reset my body, go to sleep, come back up. But long term, it started bringing a lot of soul ties, a lot of extraness, because people think that when you're having relations with other people, it can be no strings attached. That is the dumbest thing ever. How can you have something with no strings attached? But if you have an emotional tie with somebody, then that can last forever. Somebody is your friend and they hurt your feelings and it lasts long. think about that. You're swapping fluids, your blood contact, body to body contact. It's just, that's a whole different ballgame. So it's deeper. Um, some of the things that they are battling, it can be a hindrance to you because now this person is in your life, and eventually one party or the other, um, possess feelings for each other. So you're going to carry each other's burdens if you're around them long enough. That can prevent you from your destiny, from the assignments that you are supposed to, and the new people that you're supposed to come in contact with, and to fulfill your purpose. Everybody's not attached to your purpose. Or think about those people who you used to hang out with, and they party all the time, they drink, and you used to be with them all the time, and you had a good time. Yes, it was a good time, but now you're renewed. You know something different, and you want to do something else different. You want to start your own business. Well, guess what? Starting your own business requires a lot of work. That means that you're going to have to get up at all different times of the day, all different times of the night, and you're going to have to do different projects that you are not going to get paid for because you're working for yourself. The thing, people look at being an entrepreneur as so luxurious, but it's kind of not. You don't have the umbrella of saying that money is going to be there, just like with a regular 9 to 5. You're going to work because you know the money is going to be there. It's less responsibility because all you have to do is show up and produce your job. Do what your job functions tell you. But being an owner is different. You have to not only look over your stuff and make sure the funding is there, everything is legit, the books are legit. You have to, if you have employees, make sure it's right, make sure the legal documentations are in order. There is a lot. So the time that you're spending is almost like twice as much time as to go to a regular job. So the time that you're spending, partying, you're going to spend with your business unless you want it to fail. And that was one of the things that I had to learn for myself. I had to learn for myself, and I had to learn going through it. So, yeah. Sorry about not making a video before this. Like I said, a lot of my devices were going haywire. I could not get on to YouTube whatsoever. So that is why I did not have a channel. But I thank you for every single subscriber I have. I don't have 12 million subscribers. I have a lot of people that view my videos. But whether you're a viewer or a subscriber, thank you so much. If you like my videos, definitely like it. I'm going to put that out in the atmosphere because I used to say if you didn't like it, I'm not going to ask you to like it. But I think that it is beneficial to say, hey, like, subscribe, and yeah, thanks. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem, and thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you.